She wasn't waiting for a job. She was waiting for life to notice her. While the world raced ahead, Elena stood in the shadows, holding dreams no one asked about, carrying burdens no one saw. Her silence wasn't peaceful. It was heavy. And every passing day whispered the same question. Will it ever be my turn? Elena used to believe in plans. She had it all mapped out: graduate, work in mental health, build a center for broken girls like the one she once used to be. But life doesn't follow maps. It follows storms. Her father died just weeks before she was set to leave for graduate school. She came home to find her mother sick, her little brother lost, and her dreams folded into a drawer that no one ever opened again. What was supposed to be a pause became her life. Days turned into years. And Elena became the girl who smiled in public and cried into her pillow. No one knew how loud silence could be until they heard her heartbreaking night after night. Her friends moved to cities, posted pictures, lived out their dreams. And Elena? She was home, paying bills with tutoring money, cooking soup, folding clothes, wiping her mother's tears with hands that used to write essays about changing the world. People often said, "You're so strong." But strength wasn't a choice. It was survival. At family gatherings, she heard it again and again. "You were such a bright student, what happened?" And she would smile. Not because she was okay, but because it was easier than explaining the kind of pain that doesn't show on the outside. One night, her mother collapsed. Elena rushed her to the hospital, hands trembling, heart screaming. She didn't cry in front of the doctors. She never did. But when the nurse handed her a bill she couldn't afford, Elena stepped outside, leaned against the wall, and sank to the ground. It was raining. She was shaking. She looked up at the sky, tears blending with rain, and whispered, "God, I've given up everything. Why does it still feel like I'm losing?" No answer came. Just the soft rhythm of raindrops and her own breaking heart. She sat there for hours. Wet. Cold. Forgotten. Like the pages of a story the world stopped reading. Weeks later, while volunteering at a local youth center, a speaker canceled last minute. "Can anyone cover?" someone asked. No one raised their hand. Until someone turned to Elena. "You studied psychology, right?" She wanted to say no. Her voice had been silent for too long. But something inside her, fragile but firm, said, "Speak." So she did. She spoke about invisible pain. About what it means to wait. To lose. To serve. To smile when everything inside you is screaming. When she finished, there was no applause. Just silence. The kind of silence that happens when every heart is holding back tears. An older woman in the back stood up. She said, "You just told my story. And I didn't even know I needed to hear it." That woman ran a foundation for women in emotional recovery. She invited Elena to speak again. And again. And again. Within a year, Elena wasn't just speaking. She was leading. Teaching. Healing. She started her own wellness project for women who had been emotionally invisible, just like she had been. She wasn't famous. She wasn't rich. But she was finally seen. Heard. Needed. And more than anything, she was living with purpose. One evening, after a seminar, a young girl approached her. Tears in her eyes. Voice shaking. She asked, "How did you keep going, when everything in your life said stop?" Elena smiled. A smile not of survival, but of peace. She took the girl's hand and said, "Because I believe, every delay has a destination. And sometimes, God doesn't give us what we want quickly, not because He's cruel, but because what He's building for us is bigger than what we asked for." I wasn't being delayed. I was being developed. So to anyone listening, if your heart feels forgotten, if the days feel long and empty, if your prayers echo back with silence. Don't give up. Sometimes the delay is not a punishment. It's God writing a more beautiful ending than you would have chosen for yourself. Every delay has a destination. And when yours arrives, you'll understand why the wait was so long. If this story touched your heart, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more emotional and inspiring stories. Let someone else know their delay has meaning too. This is your channel for hope. Stay with us.